Do you know what it takes to be successful at coin roll hunting? Well, I'm going to attempt to show you what I go through to find coins in the wild.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
All right, before I get into the $100,000 worth of coins we searched, these are some of the finds that I've sold on eBay on JDK Collectibles. And I'm finding wounded eagles and crowns here in Michigan. And those are my bread and butter sales on eBay. I also searched dollar bills and $2 bills looking for stars, fancy serial numbers. Let's get into it. Check out my eBay partner for all the coins that I have for sale. Hey, welcome back to Coin Mojo. I wanted to talk to you guys about coin roll hunting in general and what we have to go through in order to process coin. You got to buy the coin and you got to sell the coin back to the bank. All of which many of the coin roll hunters on YouTube have discussed in the detail, and I agree with almost all of what they say, but they really never focus on the dumping portion. Well, over the years, I've had to change my process of how I dump. Sometimes I run them through machines, and sometimes I find a bank that's willing to accept bags of coin. They may even supply the bags. So what I'm doing here today is I'm showing you how much coin that I searched, because I consider myself to be a mega coin roll hunter. I don't search $10, I search thousands of dollars. And these receipts are just the receipts from the coin counting machine at my credit union. And I've taken all of these receipts and created a spreadsheet on Excel that follows after these receipts. And each one of these shots is 3 seconds. So you can pause at any time to look at detail. But I basically transferred all of this data onto a spreadsheet, and I talked about all of the amounts of coins that I've searched and some personal tidbits. And all I hope is that you see my truth, my reality, how the struggle of coin roll hunting can be very addictive. But this is valuable information. Don't take it lightly. Review this information. Feel free to pause at any one of these receipts to look at the details. This credit union accepted coins for free if you have a membership. But the machines constantly break down. They've had to fix the machines. Many times I walk in, the machines broke down. I have to go to another branch and run my coins through there. I try to spread it out. I was going to 3 or 4 different branches. And, 1 week I would do this branch. But if I had a ton of coins, I would try to split that dump and go to 2 different branches. And so all of this is information that I feel is very valuable. I took a picture of each receipt throughout the year as I dumped, and with the intention of showing you what it takes to be a mega coin roll hunter. So the balance of this video is my truth, my spreadsheet, and I discuss my efforts with you. Okay, so as promised, here is the Excel spreadsheet that I put together, starting with the month of January, February, and March here. This is receipts these are the totals from the receipts that you just saw, starting with January 20th, 2023. I searched $103 in pennies, 40 cents in nickels, $1.70 in dimes, 106 in quarters, 81 in half dollars, and $913 in dollar coins. So the total for January 20th, 2023 was $1,206.17. That is also the total for the month. Now this is just from the coin counting machine receipts. I still had a deal with a bank that was accepting bags of coin for deposit. They actually supplied the bags, and I would bag up I would do quarters, half dollars, and dollar coins. And so on average, I was dropping $4,000 on them every other week. So when I had my emergency medical condition, I still was sitting on about $500-600 worth of pennies, which I set aside for a rainy day, because it's not something that I prefer to search the half dollars and quarters and dollar coins, because those are the big hitters. So I knew I would get to it eventually, and of course with my medical emergency back in November, December of last year, I had plenty of time to search those pennies. So as I started to gain my strength and get back into things, I had a supply of pennies to work with. So you'll see early on here, these first 3 months, I searched a lot of pennies and less of the dollars and half dollars and quarters. So with that said, in February, I did 2 returns on the same day for a total of $394. In March, I had multiple returns, so I'm stepping it up a bit here, right? I'm starting to kick it up. Well, let's go back. these are denominations, right? Penny, nickels, dimes, quarters, half dollars, and dollars, and then the totals here. And then, of course, these are the dates. And so just now we covered it. And I color-coded it because red is pennies, blue is nickels, green is dimes, orange is quarters. The brown color are half dollars, and gray is just like the banks use on their wrappers, right? So it makes it easier to see. And so we're going to take it from there. All right, now in March, I'm starting to kick it up a notch. Now I had to recruit my wife because I'm not allowed to lift 25 pounds. So she was doing all the heavy lifting for me, but we stepped it up. I had a credit union that I was picking up bags, and a bank that I was dropping off bags. And then the residuals just went through the coin counting machine. So I ended up with $2,300 in miscellaneous change, but I was bagging up half dollars and dollar coins. And so you'll see the transition here after April of last year where this bank cut me off. They said they'll no longer accept bags of coin, not because they didn't want to do it, it's because I was bringing too much. I overstayed my welcome and they gave me the boot. So it is what it is. You got to find another way to do it. And the way for me to do it was to take more coins to the coin counting machine. So you'll see in March, like I said, $2,300. And then in April, I kind of got slapped. Oh no, I had a stroke. I had a stroke in April, and so I had a couple weeks off, right? I was in the hospital for 5 days. They evaluated my situation. It wasn't a debilitating stroke, but it was a stroke where I lost the sight in one eye for a couple hours, and we went to the emergency room. They kept me for 5 days. They did MRIs, CAT scans. Turns out I had a fully, I forget the term that they use, but my left carotid artery is blocked, which was cutting off supply to my retina. But your body has a way of making up for those things, and my right carotid artery was still clear, and therefore it took a couple hours for the blood to reach the other side, and once it connected back up, I was back up and running. They got it under control, and so right back at it. Middle of April, I made my first run for the coin counting machine. All right, so then in May, I really kicked it up. The wife was helping me out. She was going to the pickup banks and the drop banks, and we were running all of these coins through. I focused on quarters as usual, and half dollars I was doing cold calling, picking up loose halves. I stopped my ordering half dollars because again of my limitations, and also my limitation is not just me being able to do it, is I have to have somebody with me. And so my wife graciously agreed, and then you can see by the middle of May I was doing $3,000 a week here. For the month of May, we did total for the month of May was $9,000, almost $10,000, and I was focusing on the dollar coins, looking for those wounded eagles. And then in June, again summer months, right? I was doing 3, 6, almost there's 9,000, right? Again, heavily on the dollar coins and half dollars here. There's hardly any pennies, dimes, or nickels being searched, but I would get, when I do my pickups, I was looking for quarters. If they didn't have quarters, I would ask for dimes. So every now and then, for instance, here in July, I got $1,000 returned that week. That means I searched a $1,000 bag of dimes, right? And so that's June and July. And then, so here we are at 9,000, and then almost 7,000 in July. Of course, there's a holiday in there somewhere. So July 4th, there's a little bit of a gap in the usage or coin row hunting. And then August, I stepped it up again in August. I really went hard in August, right? You can see, $2,000-$3,000 a month, and these are the same day, if you'll notice. So I went to three different coin machines to return, or the machine broke down. I had to go travel to the next credit union and run it through there. So you see some of the dates on the receipts that I showed. It will have the time stamped on there as well. So in the month of August, I did a total of 19,000. I really hit it hard at the end. You can see here's 2 returns on 8/24 again. Bank machine broke down. Had to go to another bank. I had planned on splitting that dump because I hate to put more than 2,000 or 3,000 in at a time, or more than 3,000. But unfortunately, I was forced to do a single dump at a bank, and they were the recipient of the big dumps. And of course, I got a phone call from that credit union saying, hey, you know, what's up with all the coins? My, you know, teller is saying that they have to change the bag out 3 times while you were there. And of course I have to explain it away. That's part of the gig. And then here on 8/31, my last dump of the month, another 4,000 for a total of 19,651. Again, thousands in dollar coins, hundreds in half dollars, and then heavy on the quarters, looking for those West Points, looking for silver, looking for the crowns. You know, as you know, here in Michigan, we were finding the large crown. So that was another reason for me to step up my quarter searches. And then September, another big month, total of $11,000 in September. So, you know, 1,900, 2,600, 1,200, 1,900, 1,600, 520. It's a lot of work, right? And you got to make it worth your time, which is the reason why I'm doing this, because I want you to see that this is not something for the light of heart. If you're looking to strike it rich on this, this is not the game for you. This is a hobby, and finding valuable coins is a task. And when you do find them, you're not going to get, you know, what it was. Well, what I'm trying to say is that if I find a valuable quarter, dime, nickel, penny, half dollar, silver, it's not worth your time. I mean, unless you know, you're used to making less than minimum wage. But if your job pays you $50 an hour, there's no sense in doing this for a living, because you're not gonna be able to cut it. I've been doing this for 20 years, right? And that some of my hunts might keep me out all day. And so, what is your day worth to you? Is it worth $200? Is it worth $25 that like a West Point? You find one West Point searching a bag of quarter that takes you 4 hours. You find one West Point. You sell it on eBay for $25. Uncle Sam gets his cut, $10.99. You get charged a 13% fee, not to mention the time it takes to list the coin, take the pictures. You know, it's a passion more than a job. So now that I'm retired from my job, I can do this passion, and I'm not really concerned about how much money it makes. My wife might be, but not me. However, I do see this as passive income. So a lot of money being moved around. Here in October, I did another $5,000. You can see I'm 1,000, 1,300 in dollar coins, heavily on quarters. There's 1,000, 2,000 in quarters that month. And then we go to November. Again, I went heavy in November. 342, 600, 320, 692, 250 in quarters, 500 in halves, 500 in halves. You know, I'm not ordering them. Sometimes I walk in a bank, they happen to have a box of halves, you know. And all I'm really trying to do is get those coins off the tray, or like loose stuff. I have more luck finding silver in a handful of loose half dollars off a teller tray than I do in boxes these days. There was a time when I could find, on average, 10 to 30 silver coins in a box. That was 20 years ago. Not anymore. And it just blows my mind when I see some of these other guys. I think, you know, G.A. Silverhound or something like that had a recent find where he had over 80, 90 silver halves, most of which were, you know, silver, and or 90%, and that's fantastic. And we hope for those kind of days, but I'm lucky if I find 1 or 2 silvers in half. So I've been focusing more on the dollars, because I have found many wounded eagles, and I found last year alone 12 wounded eagles here in Michigan. So maybe Michigan was a place that was fortunate to get wounded eagles. And these are just 3 of my recent sales on eBay. They're still being found today, 23 years later, after being released to the public. So again, November, 8,000. So there's my hunt. That's a lot of coin movement and a lot of work. December, holidays coming up, right? Things are slowing down, but I still picking up bags of quarters, bags of halves, and then doing cold calling, finding as many dollars as I can get my hands on. And so here we are, December, and then here's for the totals for 2023. I did $471 in pennies, $1,000 in nickels, $7,000 or almost $8,000 in dimes. So that really represents 8 bags of dimes. $33,000 in quarters. We're talking 33 bags of quarters, and then 7,000, or actually more than that, because I also dropped off bagged up instead of running. So these are the totals of the coins that I ran through the machines. I literally ran $83,000 through the coin counting machine in 2023. And so I also ran 17,000, or dropped 17,000 off in bagged up coins. That's quarters at $1,000 a bag, halves at $1,000 bag, and $2,000 of dollar coins in each bag to be returned to the bank. So total $100,000 in coins searched in 2023 that I can account for. Sometimes I spend them, sometimes I exchange them. Like some banks will say, hey, we're still dealing with the coin shortage. So sometimes I was taking, rolled up quarters to them and keeping them happy, because that also benefits me, because they're more apt to save stuff for me, call me when they get stuff, or make a straight up exchange, box of quarters for a box of quarters, right? And, and they're less likely to give you any grief. In addition to the $100,000 in hard, heavy coin, again, I'm now limited to picking up 25 pounds. So if I don't have someone to help me carry the coins in and out of the bank, I have to deal in smaller amounts. And I've switched to looking at dollar bills, $2 bills, which I've done a couple videos on those now. Much lighter. I mean, literally $2,500 in singles weighs 250 grams. That's maybe 3 pounds. It's not much. And so that kind of suits me, but you got to find stuff. The stars aren't really worth that much. The fancy serial numbers are few and far in between. I've had some luck with the duplicated star notes from the New York Federal District from 2013. I've sold a few of those in the $20 to $40 range. I sold a couple binaries in the, again, $20 to $40. Consecutive star notes in the $2 bill. I do pretty good on those. I list 4 or 5 of them at a time, together, and that kind of makes the hurt on the shipping a little bit better. So there's a way to deal with the changes in the way I have to do my hobby. The banks are no longer taking my bags. I got one bank to agree. I showed you here. One bank has agreed to take $1,000 a week, and every time I go, when I turn in a bag, they give me another bag, right? So I'm trying not to wear out, because you saw what I did. I was dumping $4,000 and they got tired of me real quick. And so I'm kind of limiting it to $1,000 bags of $50. I'm not ordering halves. I'm only cold calling and taking what they got, right? I'm not, and then the credit union that sells me the quarters or dimes, I think only twice this year did they have a bag of halves for me. So I'm not really focusing on the $50 anymore. And I mean, I would love to order boxes of $50, but as you can see, the task of returning is both abrasive, it's heavy, it's hard, it's almost not worth it. And well, it really isn't worth it, but it's a passion. I do this because I like doing it. All right, so I got a letter in the mail in January from my credit union that I was dumping all this, and they said that they are no longer accepting coins for less than, how can I say this? They told me, or they informed us, that anything over $100, even though you have a membership with that credit union or account, will now be charged at a clip of 4%. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but what's 4% of $100,000? 4% of $100,000 is $4,000. I think that's, my math is correct. But I can ill afford $4,000 to pay a service fee for running these coins through their machine. I haven't found $4,000 worth of silver or wounded eagles. You know what I'm saying? So they're basically scraping up every penny that I do earn on this passive income hobby, by charging me 4%. Not to mention the fact that they have changed out their machine. So they sent this letter out in January. And then I show up, trying to dump these last couple bags of coins in their machine before the fee gets implemented in March. And I walk in with, a couple bags of coins, and there's a new machine. It's a small machine. So I said, oh, here we go. And then I put the bag of coins. I said, man, I'm going to be here for an hour, because I used those machines at other credit unions before. They're extremely slow. So I start I happen to have a bag of dollars, and I'm running them through the machine, and they're getting rejected, everyone. And I say, hey, what's wrong with the machine? She goes, did you read the sign? And I'm like, what? Oh, the sign said nickels, dimes, quarters, and pennies only. It didn't accept $50, and it didn't accept dollar coins. So even if I did decide to go there and dump $100, under the limit, or even if I agreed to pay the 4%, they no longer take dollars or $50. So they are really cracking down on Coin Mojo or Coin Roll Hunters. I know that particular branch, or this particular bank, credit union, had a couple guys in there, and they told me about them, and I've actually ran into them because they walked in before me or after me, dumping their $500, $3,000, bringing in literally buckets of coins, or rolling in with a cart, you know, to return their coins. So I'm sure, you know, and I'm not ungrateful. I'm grateful that I was able to do this for as long as I have. But this is the second or third time in the last 2 years that I had to change or switch gears because a credit union or a bank, Huntington Bank here in Michigan, bought out TCF. TCF was my dump bank before, and they had the high-speed machines, and they didn't charge, you know, a fee, and I would do, you know, $2,000-$3,000 every time I went there. And when Huntington bought TCF, they eliminated the machines. So Huntington doesn't have machines, TCF did. So now I had to find another route. So this is my way of telling you that this isn't all fun and games. You'll see guys doing hunts and they talk about, but they never talk about, you know, the hassle of returning coins, right? And they have given good advice about how to deal with the banks and not to overstay, you know, overburden them, which I did a little bit, but I kept saying, hey, is this okay? This is okay. But, you know, the tellers weren't, you know, had a problem with it. It was the bank itself, because they're not making any money on me and I'm using their machine. And it isn't normal for an average Joe, citizen Joe, to walk into a bank with, you know, thousands of dollars worth of change. I mean, those machines are set up like a Coinstar to handle customers that bring in a cookie jar filled with pennies and nickels and quarters, and not a guy that's dragging a wagon filled with bags of $50 and dollars, right? So I get it, I understand it, but 4% is still highway robbery. Not to mention Coinstar, whose machines take 12%, not to mention that they also charge 50 cents. The first 50, if you brought 49 pennies into the bank and dropped it in the Coinstar machine, you're not even going to get a receipt, because that first 50 cents is theirs. They get to keep that. It's anything over 50 cents is at 12%. So if you brought in $10, you're going to get $9.50 plus a 12.5% fee of that $9.50. So and most people that are bringing $10 worth of change aren't really even going to feel that. They're not going to care that it cost them, you know, 12% of $10. What's that? $1.20. Not a big deal, right? But when you're dealing in these dollar amounts, it's a big deal. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up here.
Shoo, that was quite a rant. Hit that smash button if you liked this video and if you got anything out of this information.
Also, if you've got something you want to share, pictures, which you can't do here on YouTube, but you can on Facebook, go to my Coin Mojo's Coin Roll Hunting on Facebook.
Also, don't forget to check out my partner listings on eBay, JDK Collectibles, and check out my sales as well as my listings. Give me those 4 clicks, like, subscribe, hit that bell, hit the dark bell for notifications every time I post a video. Hey, don't forget to give me that comment and share with your friends who might be interested in this information. Hopefully, I've opened your eyes to the adventure of coin roll hunting and the reality of it all. Coin Mojo out.